let's see. You are the first. You know, we had this idea that amongst our leadership team, we thought, let's interview alumni. And then Miss Andrade said, why aren't we interviewing our teachers that are alumni? I thought, what a brilliant idea. So this is going to be our asynchronous learning for every Monday. We'll have a different alumni and have our kids answer some questions and get to know our staff. So
cool.
I hate the view, the sun coming on my screen, but
we work with what we got.
Exactly. Well, thanks so much for doing this at the last minute. I want to introduce our students. Paige, is it Bermudez or Hooks?
It's both. So Bermudez is my maiden name and Hooks is my married last name. I wanted to keep my maiden name in some way, so I use both of them, but I respond to basically any polite version of, hey, you over there with the face. So.
That's awesome. Well, tell us a little about yourself in a nutshell. Why don't you tell us a little about your start with your experience at Great Oak High School as a student, and then leading up to college and then beyond. And I might interrupt you and ask some clarifying questions.
Sure. I love clarifying questions. That's my favorite kind of question. So I was homeschooled until my junior year of high school when I joined Great Oak, and I joined the IB program. So I was one of those kids who came here specifically for the IB program. And it was really scary at first because I went from being in a classroom with my mom and my younger brother, who's also a Great Oak alumni, and my younger sister, to being in a school with 3,000 kids every day. So it was very overwhelming. And I have a lot of empathy for my freshman students who I know are going to experience that in the future, because I remember how scary that was. But after I sort of got used to that, it was wonderful. I had amazing teachers. Mrs. Ricken was one of my English teachers, which was really cool. And I realized through my time at Great Oak that I wanted to be a teacher too. I saw the huge impact that my teachers had on me and what a difference it made for me as a new student in a completely new environment, to have teachers who were supportive and gave me all the tools I needed to succeed, but still expected me to be as great as I could be. And I wanted to do that for other people. So I graduated Great Oak in 2011. I went to the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia. Go Tribe.
I was just there. What a beautiful campus.
It really is. We're consistently in the top 10 most beautiful campuses in the nation, so I definitely got spoiled. It's really beautiful, very old, second oldest college in the country. We were only beat out by Harvard because they got a whole library donated, which I feel like is cheating, but that's beside the point. So I went to William & Mary and I graduated from there in 2015, and then I decided to return home to pursue a teaching credential in the state of California. So I worked on my master's degree with the University of Redlands while student teaching at Great Oak, and I've sort of just stayed here ever since. I never thought I would come back to Great Oak to teach. I was definitely one of those seniors who was like, I'm out of here. I'm never coming back to Temecula. Forget this. And I realized through my time at William & Mary that I really loved Great Oak, and truly that it is such a different and unique place. I've worked at a lot of different schools across the nation, and Great Oak really is a special place. I know it's hard to believe that when you're a student and you're like, yeah, whatever, it's the school I have to go to. But it really is a unique place, and I'm very proud to be part of the pack.
So let me ask you a couple of questions about your experience at Great Oak. Did you, here's a crazy, where did you eat lunch? Where did you eat lunch?
That is such a good question, and I know exactly where it is. And every time I walk past it, I'm like, the lunch spot. So I was in we would drag a table like half into the shade, half into the sun, under the shade structure that is by the history department. So that the one that's like on the end by the English building. Uh-huh. And we would always drag the table, and then security would always drag it back, and we would drag it back out into the sun. But the trees were all really tiny then. So it was because we were upperclassmen, we got shade privileges. It was very cool. We were very cool. By which I mean we were not cool and we yelled Shakespeare quotes at each other at lunch and sang Monty Python songs. But I felt cool, and I think that's what mattered.
That's awesome. What, other than the IB program, were you involved in any clubs or sports, or share a little about that?
Yeah, I was. So I was in the National Honor Society, and that was my big club that I was involved with. So I did a lot of stuff with them. Other than that, outside of school, I was in a pre-professional ballet program, believe it or not.
Wow.
And I danced with the ballet studio in Marietta, and we did really intensive work. So that was most of my life. I was either at school doing NHS stuff, doing homework for IB, or at ballet, to the point that my friends got me a joke T-shirt when I graduated that says, "I can't go, I have ballet." So that was what I did with all of my time, basically. Been a nerd the whole way through.
Have you maintained any of those skills? Do you still do some?
Yeah, I do some ballet still. I don't do as much ballet anymore. I mostly do tap and jazz now, because ballet is super rigorous and I do not have the time in my schedule to keep that up. But I still love it, and I still have, all the dances memorized. I bust them out every once in a while for myself in private. Definitely not a performance piece.
That's great. So you graduate from William and Mary. You get your master's at the University of Redlands, right? Was it Redlands?
Yep.
And you start applying, you get hired at Great Oak. And what was your initial thought about being a former student and now you are a staff member? Was it awkward?
It was a little weird at first because, I went from having people who were my teachers, like Mrs. Cassidy, and it's still weird for me to call her by her first name, even though we've been working together now longer than I was her student. And there's definitely, people who were my teachers, staff members who were my teachers. I tend to still call them like Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, because that's how they are in my mind. But it really, I'm gonna be honest, I cried when I found out I got the job, because I was so sure that I was not up to par for it. And I'm grateful every single day that I work at Great Oak. I live down in San Diego. This is something that not a lot of people know. So I commute an hour to work every day specifically to work at Great Oak. Wow. Because that's how much I really, truly love our school. So I'm a big sucker for it. And I do just about anything for Great Oak.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you want to share, a couple of maybe personal, you worked at Great Oak, you're now married. How did you meet your husband?
We met online. My husband's an active duty member of the Navy. And so that's part of why we live where we live, so that he has access to base. But yeah, we're doing great. He's a really great partner, and I'm very thankful to have him in my life. And I'm thankful that he understands my Great Oak obsession and puts up with all the wolves in our office space at home and listening to me practice my lessons and being very patient while I spend all of my weekends grading and prepping and doing all of that stuff.
And I don't know if we clarified that at the beginning, but Miss Bermudez, she teaches English, freshman English?
This year, freshman, yes.
All right. So we promised that these would run about 10 minutes long. What would be some advice that, a lesson you learned as a student, or now looking at things from a teacher's perspective, what's some advice that you would give the students of Great Oak High School?
Show up. Even if you can't do the work that day, even if you're exhausted, just show up. Just join the Zoom call, show up to campus, and tell your teacher that I have a lot of students right now who are struggling, and I want to help them so badly. And the number one way that we can help you as your teachers, and the number one way that you can help yourself, is to just keep consistently showing up. If you can do that, the rest of it will come. As long as you're there, that's what matters most.
I love that. Great advice, such super advice. Is there anything else that you would love to share? This has been wonderful. I've learned a lot about you. So
Thanks. Yeah, I guess other than that, I would just say I know it's hard right now, Pac, but if we can all hang in there, we will be back together eventually. And I know for my freshmen that that's something that they haven't experienced yet, but I promise you that the power of the Pac is real and the red wave exists. And it's not just me telling you that. You will see it one day. I fully believe that. And I can't wait to meet you all in person and give you air high fives, each and every one of you.
That's awesome. Well, Miss Bermudez, Miss Hooks, thank you so much. This has been a delight. You are the first in our series, and this is perfect, exactly what we had hoped for. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.